Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. It's so great to be back. 2 weeks is this feels like, well, much longer since we've all been together, but I'm so glad that we are here together today and this time and in this morning. And so thank you for joining us. And I think everybody on the call here knows who I am, but my name is, for the video, my name is Tamara Rossander, and I'm the spiritual director here at CSL White Rock. And I just want to recognize that I'm a settler on this land, and I'm grateful and honored to live and operate on the traditional and ancestral and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples. At this moment, I am not on the lands, but I'm playing in the indigenous lands of Mexico. So I want to respect all different places and know that as CSL White Rock is our vision is a loving, vibrant world that works for all. We're committed to uplifting all Indigenous voices and respecting all traditional lands and working with communities. So I want to thank everyone for who has lived on these lands before us and live and care for our Mother Earth and all that is below and all that is above. So now today it is my distinct pleasure to welcome back Mr. Ivan Boudreau to sing one of my favorite songs that he plays. He's an esteemed artist and has done many different things. We'll love to hear from Ivan this morning.
Thanks, Tamara. A young man sitting on a bench in the rain, hats on the ground, waits for spirit change. Ask him how he's doing, look him in the eye. Everybody needs a little love in their life. Live with love, love with grace. Put a smile on a stranger's face. Little things you say and do. With love, grace, and gratitude. Tells me he's hoping every nickel and dime will help buy blankets 'cause it's cold outside. There's not enough beds to keep his friends warm. A little bit of kindness never does any harm. Live with love, love with grace. Put a smile on a stranger's face. Little things you say and do. With love, grace, and gratitude. Share some love along the way. It will come back to you someday. Yearn for things we haven't got. Live too fast, race the clock. For all the joy that we've been through, nothing wrong with gratitude. Live with love, love with grace. Put a smile on a stranger's face. Little things you say and do. With love, grace, and gratitude.
Oh, beautiful, Ivan. I just love that song. It's so amazing. I'm so amazing. It's just everything for me that I am just loving, and it's the love, grace, and gratitude. Those are the three, almost they tie in so well with the main components of Centers for Spiritual Living White Rock. As our vision core team, we came up with that. We are visionaries of love. And that is what we want to spread out to the world. And that is your person that you wrote about is exactly doing that, collecting money and then giving it back for blankets to keep people warm. So thank you, Ivan. And Ivan wrote that song along with oh, I'm sorry, Ivan, got you to mute and then
His name is John Bowman.
John Bowman.
He's my musical co-writing partner.
Oh, so excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you. And know that CSL White Rock is an inclusive community and learning center, that we honor all paths to the one mind, to the one divine presence. And our teaching is based on what we've distilled down to 4 cornerstones. And that is, there is one life. It is the source of all things. That we are here as spirit having this human experience. And sometimes it may look messy and sometimes it may look wonderful and all in between, but it is this spiritual experience we're having, and nothing outside of us needs to change for us to be happy. Sometimes I find that one a little, it's my favorite, because knowing that I have control, I can take accountability for what's going on in my life, and yet there is nothing outside of me that needs to change. It is all the inner work that we do. And then, of course, my favorite as well, all 4 of my favorite, they're so good, is we are here to walk each other home. As a spiritual community, that is the piece where we get to come together and practice our spiritual practices, whether it's meditation, contemplation, prayer, but we know that it's a safe place to be together and learn and grow.
Thanks, Tamara. This is another one John and I wrote, and I picked a lot of love songs today because it's called Love is a Flower. I once thought love was a thing you find, like a flawless gem in a diamond mine. Connection made, look her in the eye. Now I know it's a test of time. No passing fancy, no picture shows. Love is a flower, gotta let it grow. I once thought love was a thing you shape. Perfect lover was something you could make. Love would sweep away troubles from the past. Now I know it doesn't work like that. A love that's perfect you will never know. It's a flower, let it grow. So when you're looking for a hand to hold, arms around your shoulders when the nights are cold, someone you can talk to when you're lost and alone, there for each other, that's how love is grown. I once thought love was a thing you made, all fire and passion that would never fade. Love grows deep underneath the skin, forever changing once it begins. No burning flames, no fiery glow. Love is a flower, let it grow. When you're looking for a hand to hold, arms around your shoulders when the nights are cold, someone you can talk to when you're lost and alone, there for each other. That's how love is grown.
Woo! Ivan, you're fabulous. That is gorgeous song. Thank you. To introduce Jade Harms. Jade is a ministerial student that I have known now for 3 years. And we've done our classes together with the last person we had speak was Amanda Pope, who is another one of our ministerial students. And we've gone through and done this work together. And Jade is she's taken so many different courses and increased her her learning and her ability to really tune in and get in touch with her divine self and to be able to share it in a way that is I think she shares it in such a generous and kind-hearted way. So I am really looking forward to kicking off this new year with our first speaker of the year, Jade Harms. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you. I am truly honored to be your first speaker of the year. That was a little surprise for me. I wasn't quite expecting that. And thank you for the meditation. Thank you for the music. And let's get into the new year with how to expand and get to know our own voice a little bit better. What I took away from the music, and it's so appropriate for today, is love is the melody of the song of life, that the song of life flows through. So beautifully, beautifully put. And I'm just going to share my screen. And let's see if I can get this side. I usually can do this where I can get it so that I can see myself and my slideshow at the same time, but it doesn't want to give me side by side. Oh well, that's life sometimes. So you can see my slideshow, and it would actually, I'm still going to give that a shot to see if I can find that little button, because it actually, give up. If it's not showing up, then it is as it is. So the theme today, and the theme from the head CSL, is the universal voice. And as I said earlier, love is the melody, the song that the universal voice flows through. And I think that's beautiful beyond words. Keeping love in the center. As an individual, I know I can only express myself. The beauty here is that as I learn to express my true voice, I learn to hear myself. And then as I learn to hear myself, I learn to hear others and see in them what I see in myself. So learning to hear that universal voice, the song of life itself, is really where it starts, and so appropriate for January. So how is your hearing of your own song? As we know, knowing who and what we are, knowing God as the creator is me, knowing that God as creative action is me, knowing that God as the creation is me. Spells out a little bit more, as God is, so I am. Knowing that this is our true nature, my quest for this last year has been to know in my heart what I know in my mind. So I've learned that there's a practice that I need to keep in maintaining that. And so I invite everybody in to consider that in knowing ourselves is a practice. And whatever practices you may sink into to help yourself with that, I'll take a step back, what is the goal of a practice? And I want to recognize diversity here. And there's people that automatically sense and understand what their divine nature is, and sense and understand their divine core. And then there's those of us like me who struggle at it a little bit and have to work a little bit harder to get there. But it's all good because we know it's all God. So I stopped to recognize the diversity of the individuals that are present here in this room and present in the world. So how do we sink into knowing this, our knowing of ourselves, our essence, our being more completely? And in that, we ask ourselves, what is the song of our life? What is your song? What does each and every human share but the love that flows in between us, recognizing the song of another? So what is your song of life? And how does the divine urge, that's what brought us all here, recognizing that there was more to life than living, more to life than just being. I remember the day that I heard the quote from Wayne Dyer, and it sparked something in me to know more and not leave myself unexpressed. His quote is, "Don't die with your music inside you." And like I said, that quote moved me and it stayed with me. And I think of it periodically. What is my music? So how are we to sing? How are we to express? How are we to claim and express the truth of ourselves? Find our passion, find our purpose, find our voice. And I found for me, the first step was acknowledging myself, learning to love myself, learning to feel the love for myself, to take it from here. Oh, I love myself. I take care of myself. That's the easy part. It's when I start getting the congruency and I start feeling it as well, that I know that it becomes the truth of who and what I am. I'm reminded of a song in The Greatest Showman. In it, the singer declares, "This is who I am. This is who I am meant to be." You can feel the artist just expressing her truth, regardless of the opinions of others. The song is called "This Is Me," and it's by Keela Settle. And she says, "I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. So who are we, and what is our song, and how do we want to express it this coming year? Are we in tune with what we sense is our purpose, or is there more? Is there an urge or something telling you that dig a little deeper, listen to yourself a little more fully? Is there more? I was getting glimpses of who and what I was. And over this last year, what's come to me is how to gain a better connection and communion with that part of myself. There's always been the I am. We have great words, a fantastic message. But if it only stays in my head, it only goes so far. I needed that message to sink into my heart, to gain the congruency that I need to be able to stand up and say, I'm making no apologies. This is me. So how do we get in and commune and connect with who and what we are? Seeing our divine essence, seeing ourselves as unique, individualized expressions of the one. And it's from that standpoint that you know, of the one, the oneness, is our spirit, our mind, and our heart connected? Are these congruent? I've been working with Kathy Ann Lewis as she's been teaching practitioners a lot out of Seattle. And she does a practice where she looks at people and she has them say, there's good in this world and I ought to have it. And my good is, and she has them express it. And just being in there and watching people's faces and seeing that as they're saying it, sometimes there's no connection with their face, nothing changes. These are just words. Gives us all clues that it's only in one spot. When the person lines up with the truth of who and what they are, all of a sudden their smile just lights up. And you can hear their face softens. They get a grin on their face. And their energy on how they say these things just totally transforms and changes. So as you're looking for what it is yours to do, how your voice is to show up in this world, I encourage you to pay attention to how that lands within you when you say it. There's good in this world and I ought to have it. And my good is making no apologies and being seen. And if it lights a spark and a fire within you, you know you're heading the right direction for yourself. Because that's where you tap into the love and it gets a chance to flow through you and be expressed. So as God is, so am I. We are oneness. Yeah, kind of covered that already. I'm motoring in there. So again, how to connect more deeper and better with this congruency within yourself? It's through practices. And I'm going to say it really doesn't matter which practice you use. The meditation that we did this morning was wonderful. If meditation is your way, keep going. Can you feel how things drop in and resonate with you? Is really the truth. Your practice could be reading. It could be studying. It could be walking in nature. It's not, there's so many different things that you can practice. What's important is how it feels, and does it help you sink in and commune with the truth of who and what you are? So in some of my studies, it's been talking about developing the practice of the observer self. So in our meditation, we were invited to feel our breath. And this is one it's taken me time to practice and notice, but bring your awareness to your breath, every breath you take, or when you stop and be mindful about it. Who's breathing you? What's breathing you? What's causing that automatic response of your body to inhale and exhale consistently? And then when you notice that part of yourself within yourself, acknowledge it as being something that you are. And the other thing I've learned is coming more to my attention is the constriction. Or are we allowing it, or are we holding ourselves back? And I remember teaching children in dentistry how to manage and be able to sit there while you're getting a needle, right? This was a lot of fun. So I used to tell the kids, now make a fist, make a tight fist. And they would make a fist. And this is, if we're trying to get something in there, if you're tight like that, it doesn't go so easy, does it? And they're going, no. You know, the kids can get that picture right away. But if we even just loosen up the grip and then try to get in there, it works much better, doesn't it? And all the kids are going, yeah, that makes sense. And I would then tell them and say, I'm going to be beside you. You're going to feel my hands on your arms. I'm going to remind you that I'm there. And I'm going to remind you to relax and just listen to my voice as we would go into getting a needle and getting the dental treatment done. So I would explain the whole process, but it's that point of relaxing to allow something in. So I challenge everybody in your practices, whatever it is, to make sure we relax, we unconstrict, so that we can allow not only what wants to come into us in our awareness, but what wants to be expressed through us. So welcome it. Connect with it. Commune with it in your practice. Whatever you choose to do, starting your morning with it is a great way. I've been reading a book from Bob Proctor, Change Your Paradigm. And in this, he says he's had he had conversations with Earl Nightingale, and he would go into his office and see a book on his desk open. He says, oh, what book are you reading? And it was probably Think and Grow Rich, or at that point, I think he said it was something from Troward. And Earl Nightingale said, yeah, and when I'm finished it, I'll start it over again. And it occurred to Bob Proctor that it's the repetition of a book over and over and over again that allows all of us to change our habits, change our paradigm, so that we can change our life. So it's our practices which help give us the repetition, to help us sink in deeper and acknowledge the truth of who and what we are, so that we can go forward and change our habits and change our life, to learn to sense and be that love that can flow to the world. So in our practices, if our goals are to expand ourselves, then we're expanding our love, we're expanding our present, we're expanding our ability to be a voice in this world. I ran across a interesting quote this morning, and it really augmented the information from Bob Proctor, and it's from Robert Heinlein. And he says, in the absence of clearly defined goals, we come loyal to daily trivia until we become enslaved. So have a goal with your practice. Know what you want to achieve out of it. A little bit more awareness, a little bit more attention, and keep moving forward. Setting goals of awareness of our divine nature is how we express as God. It is how we sing. It is our song, our voice, and that is part of the universal voice. So don't die with your music still inside you. Listen to your intuitive inner voice. Find what passion stirs your soul. And my final quote will be from Mark Nepo, the Book of Awakening. Live loud enough in your heart that there is no need to speak. And I challenge each and every one of you as we're going through our winter season of, this is where we've set goals, whether it's January 1st or January, as we start moving towards spring, where we're growing and renewing. Renew your goals, refresh your goals. Look for the passion in them. And determine that 2023 will be your loudest year yet. And be part of the universal voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. That was lovely. I enjoyed that the universal voice of going through and setting the goal, or I don't like to set goals. I like to use the word intention, but I think it's just either or, whatever prefers. So, but having that intention, and I know some of our practitioners and some of our other people on the call have taken a class with Dr. Joanne Lanning, and she always says, practice, practice, practice. That is how we get better, how we start to learn to walk our talk a little bit more. And I think that is where here, being in spiritual community, that's where we get to do that. We get to practice or run it by somebody else, or say, hey, when we're in with like-minded people and working through. So thank you so much. That was fabulous. And it's, to open it up, if anybody has any questions for Jade or anything that they'd like to ask, we've got a few moments here to do that and open it up. Let me just get the chat open myself. Make sure. And I like that. There's good. I wrote it down. There's good in this world and I ought to have it. And my good is. And then everybody can just fill that in for yourself.
Yeah, that's direct material from Emma Curtis Hopkins.
Emma Curtis Hopkins, right?
Yeah, she likes to get the good out there. And the other part is, here's another thing that you can do as you're saying it. Look down and say it. See how that feels. Look straight ahead. Say it. See how it feels. Her thing is the high watch, and she's always telling you to look up. So then do that in the same time and notice how they feel and see how it's demonstrated that looking up as you're doing it adds an extra lift to what you're saying.
That's good. Thank you. Yeah, Alan says, thank you for the reminder about having a regular spiritual practice. And Claire said, oh, she loved the visual presentation. She was able to take a few screenshots. And Janet said, I'm excited by restarting the daily reading for this year in Science of Mind. starts with what we believe and the reason for believing. Yeah, that's a good reminder, Janet. Those first 4 chapters are always a good way to start the year. I know in many centers, they always start January as reading the first 4 chapters. I know we used to do that quite regularly here at CSL White Rock with Reverend Terry. That is so good. Well, thank you so much, Jade. Did you want to close your time off with a prayer?
Sure, I can do that. So let's just take a collective deep breath and feel all that is within us that wants to be heard. That love, that center, your core, call it what you will. It's your divine. And knowing that the divine is within, and the divine is around us in everything that we see, we do, we hear, we relate to. The divine is in others, because we know ultimately it is all one. One fantastic, awesome, incredible, precious expression. And as divine expressions, I know that I stand and decide today that I'm living 2023 out loud. And I stand and know that everything I need to live out loud is mine. It's already here. I already have it. It is no challenge. It's ease and flow. And what I know for myself, I know for everyone else as well. Because we know as a collective and we know as an individual that all that we need is ours. So take the challenge, dream big, and know that you can express out loud to the degree that you can dream. It is one and the same. I have divine thoughts, I have divine dreams, and these are a flow from the Creator, the creation, the creativity that I am into the world. And what I know for myself, I know for all. So I am thankful for this time. I am thankful in that we can express these wishes and desires. I am grateful for each and every person. I'm grateful that we can just be here to listen to ourselves and listen to others. I release this word to the law, knowing that it is already done. It is so, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. So that it takes now us to spiritual practice as the spiritual practice of sacred giving. And it begins with the recognition that it is our part of our nature to give and to receive. So at CSL White Rock, we teach that giving is not only a practice we should do out of a sense of obligation, but something we choose to do out of a generous spirit of love and joy. And the act of giving establishes balance and allows energy to flow freely, coming in and going out. And when you're balanced, you're naturally open to the miracles that surround us at every moment. And they are there. We just have to open our eyes to see the miracles. So let us affirm together our prosperity affirmation. I am grateful for my life. I'm grateful all that I need flows to me effortlessly through channels expected and unexpected. I am the instrument of this prosperous life. Thank you. And if you choose to give and support your spiritual community, you can donate on our website, mail us a check, or send us an e-transfer. All of the information is in the Zoom chat. I see Nancy's already posted it. And just know that every size of gift is helpful, and know that your contribution does make a positive difference in CSL White Rock. We're so grateful for everyone showing up, coming and keeping us going, and being able to talk about our spiritual growth together.